Mr. Oliver, let me pick up on a line of questioning that Chairman Sullivan was pursuing during his time, and that's saltwater recreational fishing. You mentioned on page 2 of your testimony that NOAA Fisheries is going to partner with Atlantic States Marine Fisheries to host a national summit in March of next year on saltwater recreational fisheries. I've introduced a bill called the Modernizing Recreational Fisheries Management Act, which would amend Magnuson-Stevens to improve management for saltwater recreational fishing. It's co-sponsored by Ranking Member Nelson, also by Senators Blunt, Inhofe, Schatz, and Klobuchar of this committee. Will you work with Congress as we explore Magnuson-Stevens reauthorization in a way that allows its successes to continue while also adapting to fix the problems at hand, especially those with recreational fishing? And I would mention specifically the Marine Recreational Information Program, which our recreational fishermen believe lacks timeliness and accuracy. They believe the program is not designed to monitor short seasons like red snapper. And have you looked at my bill, and also have you looked at the idea of innovations such as Mississippi's Tails and Scales electronic reporting system for red snapper landings by using smartphone snaps? So it's sort of a two-part question that I'll wrap into one there.
Thank you, Senator Sullivan. Yes, thank you for the question. We absolutely want to work within whatever construct you have to improve those types of information. I have become acutely aware in the short month that I've been here of some of the issues surrounding not just red snapper, but certainly a lot of focus on red snapper, particularly with regard to some less than perfect satisfaction with some of our own stock assessment information, less than perfect satisfaction with our MRIP program.
It's a gentle way to say that.
Yes, sir. And we, of course, have pending a baseline benchmark stock assessment for red snapper, thanks to funding that's been provided. It's going to be a couple of years before we get the results of that, but that's going to be an important piece of information. On the data collection side, what's coming out of the water, I have heard from a number of constituents, from a number of people. I've had discussions amongst my own staff leadership over the past 2 weeks about some of the dissatisfaction I've heard with the MRIP program and the speed with which it's progressing. That program is a work in progress, and I understand some of the frustrations. I think we have some improvements pending on it. Going from the telephone survey to a mail survey will be an improvement. I've also heard that it's not enough, it's not fast enough, and we're not taking great enough advantage of some of the state data collection programs as the one you referenced. And a couple of thoughts on that is I have made it a priority based on discussions over the past 2 weeks to prioritize and expedite the certification of those state data programs. We are using data from many of those programs, and a lot of those are supported through the MRIP program. But I have heard loud and clear that we need to expedite the certification of those programs and the use of the data in those programs. And I personally believe when you look around at the technology we have today and cell phone, smartphone technology, that there have to be, we have to find a way to utilize those technologies to get that information more quickly and more accurately. And I know that there have been concerns about using that information as the apples and oranges problem with tying it to data from the MRIP and other programs in terms of stock assessments. But I think we are going to make it a priority to do that. I also believe that regardless of the implications for stock assessment, if we have a way to get better information today on what fish is coming out of the water, we darn well need to be using that. And so I absolutely agree with the provisions or the points that you're making. I've had a chance to briefly look at the legislation you've introduced, and I think it's consistent with it seems to be consistent with the things we already intend to do, but certainly any help and direction that you want to provide us in that would be most welcome, and we'll work with you, sir.
Very good, and my time's expired, so I'll just ask you on the record about something I was going to explore in this hearing. That's aquaculture in federal waters. In 2016, there was a final rule. So far, we haven't had any bites on actually applications because of the expensive permitting process and other regulatory challenges. So, Mr. Chairman, I think I'll just ask Mr. Oliver to comment on the record, since we're pressed for time here, about why he thinks we haven't had anybody apply now that we have a program for aquaculture. So thank you.